Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Talkin Baseball. The NL Central has become more fun. The AL Central still rolling. So many games. Me and Trev? Woo! Good morning. And welcome to Talkin Baseball. Myself, Jake Stromboli, and Trevor Plouffe today. No Jomboy, dealing with a little family stuff. Everything's good, we believe. If it's not, I guess we'll update you with that, and that won't be fun. But I think everything's fine. Hopefully, Jomboy, you'll see that beautiful smiling beard sometime soon. Until then, we are coming live from the Roosevelt Studios, RSV LTS, and I am joined by another beautiful beard, Trevor Patrick Plouffe, TPP.
What's up, dude? It kind of feels like we got a substitute teacher. You know, it's like there's really no rules today because the sub's in. He's probably going to put a movie on, and if he says anything, I'll just say, hey, you're not my real teacher.
Yeah.
You're not my real teacher. Call the principal.
Things could get ugly.
Yeah, but it's a weird day out here. We've had some fires around the area, so the sky is kind of gray. There's some ash, and guess what? 2020 wouldn't have it any other way. This is par for the course. It was 122 degrees near me yesterday. So let's get started here so I don't melt outside.
Yeah, let's stay hot, man. And we're basically at the 2/3 mark, Trev. 1/3 of this quirky damn regular season to go. There's a lot of fan bases that need love. Maybe at the end of this we'll do a little Jake and Trev medicate a couple fan bases and be like, it's okay. It's okay, Atlanta Braves. You split a series. Things are good.
Legalize it.
We'll do all the substitute teachers who also sell you a bag of oregano on the side. I think we got to get into the games. So let's do it. I'll lead off with the East Coast, and then we'll talk about a little. Let's do it, BBD.
I don't have that music. I have
okay.
Intro.
So we'll play the music in our head while we go through it.
Pretend.
The New York Yankees head to Baltimore, and they take game one of the doubleheader. Get it going, Yanks. Get it going, Yanks. Mike King versus friend of the podcast, Tommy Eshelman. Trev. Yanks end up winning this, their 19th straight against the O's. We've got relievers running bases and extra innings. It's all about player safety this year. Gary Sanchez with a home run. Will that spark him? Got a spoiler. No. The Yanks end up losing the final 3 games of this series to Baltimore to end a 19-game win streak against that same very team. In the second game, Eric Kratz, the Mennonite masher with a 2 RBI single, gives them a lead. And Trev, this was the Yankees' future game. They went Davey to Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt makes his major league debut. Brutal spot to come into, giving a starting pitcher a relief spot with runners on base. We'll talk about that a little bit. Ryan Mountcastle for the O's, young guy. He's the real deal. He can hit. Baltimore rallies. They win 6-3. The next day is Cole Day, and he was nasty. Strikes out 8 of the first 9. The wheels start to come off a little bit. An error from third baseman Thairo Estrada, could have used Trevor Plouffe out there, leads to 4 unearned runs. Cole ran out of gas. He couldn't stop the bleeding. Pretty much a nightmare for Yankees fans. DJ Stewart, thick, 2 home runs. And then Baltimore takes the final game 5-1. Hopefully rock bottom for the Yankees. A terrible lineup. Tanaka was solid, but Dean Kremer in his MLB debut dropped some dick. So that's how things are going. Baltimore, 3 out of 4. In the ATL, the Nats came through. Atlanta took game 1. Ronald Acuna Jr. with the leadoff homer. He homers later, too, just to have a little bit more fun. Dansby, my doppelganger, 3 RBIs and a yacker himself. And Tommy Milone with 4 shutty, our guy. Then We've got 10, 9, and 7 innings. Holy smoke. So Nats bounce back. This game must have been nuts. Nats and Braves fans, let me know. But Riley and Acuna, homer early, d'Arnaud late, and it's still not enough. Thames with 2 RBIs. Michael Taylor with 3 RBIs. Nats take that in 7. And then they take the next one, too. 10-4, back-to-back 10 spots. Acuna, again. Duvall with the homer. It's not enough, though. How about Brock Holt on the Nats with a 4-hit day? Victor Robles with 3 and 5.1 shutout from the Nats pen. Boogity. Atlanta bounces back with a 10 spot of their own. 10 runs in these final 3 games. Freddie Freeman with another grand slam. After not having one, he gets 2 in a week. Tomlin with a nice start. Ozuna still on a warpath. Corbin gets knocked around a little bit. They split. Mets and Phillies. Wow, 4-game sets. Those will take it out of you. But here's 3. Phillies go and play the Mets. The Phillies, Arrieta, Trev's guy, and Porcello with a couple nice starts. It's tied at 2s after Conforto homer. Single, hit by pitch for Quinn, Segura, and Hasley. And Tommy Hunter's been good out of the bullpen, Trev. I don't know if you've been tracking that. Your guy. Philly takes game 1, but the Mets are fighting and they're coming. They take the final 2. Seth Lugo with a really nice start, and then DeGrom's, that's kind of all he does. Alonso with 2 home runs. McNeil, Nimmo, Ramos, the big boy. Mets take 2 out of 3, 14-1 on the final day. Holy smokes. Miami heads to Tampa. Tampa Bay takes the first game. Pablo Lopez versus Fleming, the rookie. They do a 5 innings pitch, 4 earned run versus a 4 innings pitch, 5 earned run. Susugo goes yard. Dickerson, Aguilar, Michael Perez, the backup catcher with a bases clearing double. Tampa wins 5-4. Miami takes the middle game. Sandy Alcantara outduels Snell. C-Dick with another homer. 7-3 Miami final. And then the last game, we're going extras. Glasnow was mess. Starling Marte homer. Randy Arozarena with 2 home runs for the Rays. Of course, Rays pen holds 4 through the 9th inning. And then Lau with the walk-off sac fly. Rays take the series. Of course they do. And then a little bit of a stink bowl. Well, for Boston at least. They invite the Jays, who just passed the Yankees in the series. Taijuan Walker and Martin Perez with a mini pitcher's duel there. 2-2 in extras. Teoscar with the 3-run homer. Shaw, the next day he homers. Jansen, Yairo Munoz, not familiar, but he had a big series for the Sox. The Sox fight, but it's not enough. Toronto, 8-7, they take the first 2. And then Boston takes the second 2. Yairo Munoz again, 3 for 4. I don't really have the scouting report. Counting on Trev for that. Sox pitching holds enough. Mazza to the pen. This was Ross Stripling's Blue Jay debut, I believe. 4.13 earned runs, or maybe his second start. He's got a kid on the way. Saw that on Twitter. How about it? Boston wins again, 9-8. Teoscar homers. JD, JBJ, Bobby Dahlbeck, Vlad, Devers, Bogarts, and of course, Yairo Munoz walks it off because he's that dude now. And then Toronto, they still end up winning the 5-game set. They score 6 in the 5th. Infield single and then some monster ball by Biggio. Rowdy Tellez is mashing. This game was 10-4. Sox make it look a little closer late. Lourdes Gurriel, 4 for 6. Robbie Ray's first start for Toronto. Gets Robbie Rayed. And that's what happened in the East. Holy smokes, that was a lot.
I think you did a great job. I did a little bit of Yairo Munoz scouting as you were talking right there.
Huge.
Turns out he was sick of the food at the alternate site because he gets called over and he's like, I need to do something to stick around here. The big league spread is much better. The big league pay is much better. So, he's not a rookie. He's 25, almost turning 26, but he's sick of it. Sometimes you got to get to that point. Say, I'm done with the minor league. Give me some Showtime, baby.
Hey, if you get your chance, his stats were silly. Again, I normally joke around about with a guy like that who's probably a baseball deep cut, but hey, there's playing time to be had on the Red Sox. Work your way in, Yairo.
Look, like we always say, you're a slapdick until you prove you're not. So congratulations, Yairo. You're not a slapdick anymore. Now, that can't be said for your guy Clark Schmidt coming up.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill.
Dude.
Didn't really fill them, but you got to hand it to him. Like you said, Jake, putting a starter into a relieving role is never good. Relievers don't even like to come in with runners on base. Starters definitely don't like to come in later in the game when they can't go through their whole process. We talk about that all the time on here. These guys are creatures of habit, and especially on their start day, they do the same thing.
And
they're used
so
to a schedule.
Let's talk about this a little, Trev, because this was obviously hot in the streets for us and Yankees fans. The storyline is a lot more fun. It's like, oh, we're going to go David to Clark. This is badass. They finally called up Clark. And so, the Yankees were pretty much out of relievers. It was either going to be Clark or Albert Abreu, who's another rookie who gave it up the day before. Like, they were really out of options. But at the same time, the Yankees are doing things like they're resting DJ LeMahieu, and Glaber came off the IL, played one game, and then they rest him. So the Yankees play this game where they try to take care of their assets and be super careful, yet you're going to finally call up your number one prospect who's a starting pitcher and bring him in with 2 runners on? I mean, out of the pen, like that's, I don't know. Those feel like 2 pretty conflicting ideals right there.
It sounds like, and it seems like, Boone's getting a little desperate. I mean, if you look at the standings after this weekend, Baltimore's 2 games behind the Yankees. The Yankees are almost out of the playoffs, which, look, I've said this a million times. They're going to be there. Okay. I hate how many teams are making the playoffs. I actually think the playoffs might be fun because of it, but the regular season, like we talk about, man, just doesn't mean as much. But that's only to a certain degree. I mean, if you keep losing games, then the season does become important. Like, you got to win some of these games, especially, they've kind of been there all year, right? I mean, they've been a decent team all year. So this isn't like you're facing the Red Sox or whatever, although the Red Sox took care of business too. Yankees just need to go out, and I hate saying this because I sound just like an old talking head, but you got to play with a little bit of urgency.
Yeah. No,
I know they are, and these are young guys trying to step up and fill shoes, and it's the Yankees and blah, blah, blah. But, dude, a lot of these guys are getting their shot. Go take your shot, dude.
Man, and there's a lot of guys that contributed last year, and, a lot of guys saying, I want a bigger role. I want to do this, that, and the other, and they're looking terrible right now. I mean, John was saying on Talkin' Yanks last night, this is probably the worst Yankees lineup he's seen, and I know that sounds like hyperbole and it's a little bit spoiled Yankees fans, but I mean, we dug through. I mean, since about 96 when we were about 7 years old or so, the Yanks, A, have been really good, and B, they just normally have a lineup. So this has been one of their ugliest 2-week stretches, and that's where I've been trying to be a little more level-headed where, hey, there's technically a third of this season left. Normally, that would be like 2 months. This year, it's about 3 weeks of baseball. So I'm trying to stay a little composed, and if they can get a couple guys healthy, they can get a couple bats figured out. And they've got 10 games against the Blue Jays. So if you handle your business, it's right there, But also, you could get handled, and then times could be bad. If they don't make the playoffs, it's going to be very deserved. Like, if they keep playing like this, then yes.
I don't want to talk about the Yankees this whole time.
Let's not.
Now I'm realizing how spoiled you are, and this is a
so
good
spoiled.
Thing for this entire company. All you guys that work there that are Yankees fans need to take this to the chin and just learn from it.
It keeps us in check, man. I always say
Houston for the last spot for the playoffs.
I always when I say spoiled Yankee fans, it's normally towards the bullpen. Like, people be like, I don't know if we want Chapman closing games. And it's like, do you guys know how spoiled you've been by the Riveras and Robertsons and Chapmans and being able to pay for bullpens? Most teams can't do that. Anyways, we're over the Yankees.
We're over the Yankees.
Yankees.
Continues to do their thing.
Yeah, dude.
They say, Fish, you're not for real. We're the team in South Florida, baby. Look at our sweet stadium. It's disgusting, but that's ours. They're defending it like it's the Taj Mahal.
It's disgusting, but it's ours. That's Jake Storielli with Jomboy Media.
Let's move on to the Central region.
You think so? Any Phillies Mets? Are you getting into the Mets at all? Mets are trying to fight.
I think this is something we monitor in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Look, I don't believe in them. I don't believe they're going to do anything. You have DeGrom, so you always got a chance.
Yeah.
And they did some trades. They were aggressive. It's been a very Metsy year.
Yes.
Philly wins 9 of 10. Then they give 2 out of 3 here. But what's surprising about Philly, and we'll talk about Philly because I'm a big Philly fan here.
Yes.
Philly's legend, T. Plouffe.
Yes.
Starting pitching's been good, man.
Yeah.
They're getting
really
it going.
good.
They're getting it going. That's all you can ask for. Get that lineup going, and they're going to be a dangerous team if they click all together. Bullpen's kind of short up. The offense is long. And you got Wheeler and Nola going at you, and then you got a little splash of Led Zeppelin and Jake Arrieta to back it up. I can see it.
Yeah. I don't know. Seth Lugo's been doing good things. I kind of believe in the Mets. That lineup's still good. They got DeGrom. And right now the Giants are the 8th seed in the playoffs. So just win a couple series, handle your business, and you're going to be there, the Mets.
I think there's some guys I don't give enough credit to on the Mets. Conforto, I don't get enough credit.
He's good.
To. Davis, I don't give enough credit to.
They're ball players. They're hitters.
Smith is kind of doing it. For a while, I was off him because he's been touted so highly, and then, he's doing his thing, man.
It's kind of like what we said with the Yankees. Dom Smith, you're right. It was up and down. It looked good. It looked bad. He didn't have a position. He's getting run this year. He's hitting. That's how it goes. So that's kind of what's going on around the East. Can do quick standings. Braves are still in first place by 3 games over the Phils. Marlins are a game and a half back of them. Mets are a game back of them. Nats still stink. And yeah, the Blue Jays are a game up on the Yankees. Rays running away with it, 5.5. Orioles lurking. God, would that be good times for Yankee fans? Let's kick off the Central. I'll kick it midway to you, T. Plouffe.
Let's do it, baby.
Deal? All right. In the Central region, the Chicago White Sox. Oh, my God. They take all 4 versus the Royals. All 4. 11-6 game 1. Dylan Cease outdoes Danny Duffy. A lot of D's there. 3 RBIs for Abreu and Robert, who hits an absolute moonshot. Tried to leave Kaufman, and I don't think that was possible. He's unbelievable. They take game 1. 7-4, the next game, Dunning versus Singer. Ugh. And an ugly box score to go with it, too. All the runs were scored on, were ground outs, wild pitches, just ugly. Couple doubles late by Abreu and Eloy. Open it up, 7-4 dub. 5-3 White Sox. Giolito, ya boy. 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. Abreu again, his 14th homer of the season. Grandal, you forget he's even on that team. Had a slow start. He's coming along now. Bubic wasn't bad for the Royals, and Bubba Starling homered. So there's your solace, Royals fans. You still lost. And then the final game, Keuchel, 5 shutout, gets pulled with some back tightness. That's something to watch for the White Sox going forward. They had 3 different RBI doubles. Mazzara, forget he's there sometimes. Grandal, Eloy, and then Uncle Edwin with the 450-foot moondog. He's starting to get it going. Little parrot time. 4-game sweep. In Detroit versus Minnesota, this series still goes on tonight. The facial hair bowl. And God, I was so mad at Trevor Plouffe all weekend because the Twins were stealing victories. Dobnak outduels Boyd in game 1, 7 innings. Polanco and Donaldson homer in the first, and that's it. An hour, 45-minute game. Rob Manfred rejoices. Is Rooker making his debut in this game or the next game? I'll ask Plouffe about it. He was all jazzed up. Twins take both ends of the doubleheader, 3-2 in this one. Final after 8. Scope and Miggy Cabs with RBIs. Tyler Alexander was good. The Twins rally. Polanco, a 4-for-4 day. Controversial walk in this game. Don't want to talk about it. Don't care. Twins win 3-2. They come back on Saturday. Skubal, Maeda, they're both dealing. Kind of fun. Victor Reyes had a leadoff homer, so no homers later. Detroit with the lead. Not so fast, my friend. Nelson Cruz double play ball off the butt, which instead is an infield single. And then Buxton, young Buck, with the walk-off ground out to short / infield single. Elite speed. And then 10-8 Detroit, Game 4. My eyebrow is saved for now. Don't sleep on them Tigers. Twins go up 6-2. Plouffe's FaceTiming me. Twins bullpen falls apart. Detroit wins 10-8. Casey Mize versus Dick Mountain to start this one. Came down to the bullpen. Willie Castro with 3 RBIs. And then St. Louis, Chicago, another 4-gamer. So many games this weekend. Darvish drops Dick the first night. 7 innings pitched, 11 Ks, 1 hit. Outduels Flaherty. Cubs win 4-1 because of Wilson Contreras. RBI singles in his first 2 at-bats, and then he homers in the 6th. All 4 Cubbies RBIs. Might have to ask Jack what's going on there. What's up with Willie? Cardinals bounce back the next day. Doubleheader day. Waino goes 6.1 out of 7 innings, 2 earned runs. He's got a 2.68 ERA. Hands it to Gallegos. They get the dub. Ian Happ with 2 solo dongs like that. Cubs went bullpen in that game. They lost 4-2. Both teams go bullpen day in the next game, and St. Louis does it again. 5-1. DeYoung and O'Neill, your boy, strong Canadian. Homer early. That's enough for them. And then they take the final game, too. The Cards take 3 out of 4 from the Cubbies. The wind was blowing out. Some funny highlights here. Tommy Edman gets his first homer of the year due to the Wrigley win. Couple friends, Rizzo and Kipnis homer, but Goldie with the 3-run shot. That gives them the lead. Dakota Hudson outpitches Lester. Lester you're going to hear about in a bad way in a little bit. Trevor Plouffe, what happened in the rest of the Central?
Take a deep breath and a bow, Jake. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Let's head over to Cleveland, where Milwaukee visited. First game, 7-1. Milwaukee takes it. It's Cookie Carrasco versus Corbin Burns. They both pitched well, but the Indians' bullpen and defense blows it and allows the Brew Crew to score 4 runs in the 7th inning. That's kind of similar to what happened in the Twins game. We'll talk about that afterwards. Cleveland bounces back in game 2. It's Savali versus Woodruff. They were tied at 3 in the 9th. Then Mercado, friend of the pod, hits a single. Hader wild pitch, and Hernandez, Hail Caesar, singles to win it for the Tribe. 4-3, Cleveland takes that one. And in the 3rd game and deciding game of the series, Cleveland wins 4-1. Bieber. He strikes out 10, gives up 1. And Anderson strikes out 1 and gives up 4. So you can tell who won that one. I actually made some phone calls and asked about Bieber. I guess I should save that.
Ooh.
Let's
teaser.
I got a scouting report.
Teaser.
I got to know what's up with this guy.
Yeah.
Why is he so damn good? We'll tell you after we finish the rest of the Central. Then we head on down to Pittsburgh. Game 1, 4-2 Cincinnati. Castillo with a good outing. Castellanos with a home run. Seems like he always hits home runs because that's what he does. He drops Dick all day long. Second game of the set, Pittsburgh comes back. There's a costly error by Votto and a wild pitch from Bauer. It allows the Pirates to score 3 in the 4th and 2 singles and a double play push across the winning runs in the 5th. Bauer's mad at this team. They lose this one 4-3. In the rubber match, 6-2 Cincinnati. There's a solo shot by Barnard and then a 3-run homer from Eugenio Suarez. And that was all the offense the Reds would need. Suarez hit another one in the 8th just for fun. He's actually started his own dick-dropping tour out in Cincinnati. The Reds finally win a series. Oh, never mind. There's the 4th game, and they lose it 3-2. Kotuk tied it in the 9th with a single. Then he races home on a sac fly from Gonzalez. They end up splitting the series. Oh, no, the Reds suck.
That was a hell of a setup by producer Jomboy in there.
They got me.
Yeah.
Man, the Reds stink. Why? We got to talk about this Bauer thing. I missed this, but he got mad. Shocker.
He just lives mad, man.
What's cool is he so mad about? An error?
He just lives mad. I mean, Reds made 6 errors in 4 games this series. And I got to know, so Reds fans, retweet at me, tweeted Trev, like, what is your guys' vibe? Jomboy keeps dropping the fact they've only won 2 series this year, which is almost unbelievable with their pitching staff. Does it feel like, because right now with the Yanks, and sorry to bring it back to my Yanks, but every game feels like you're waiting for the bad thing to happen. You're waiting for the mistake. that's going to be the one loose wheel, and then the other wheel comes off, and then the other wheel comes off, and then it's a complete disaster. Is that what Reds games feel like right now? Because they had the lead in the ninth yesterday. They had 6 errors this series. Like, is it just a bad brand of baseball, or is it something goes wrong every day and then there's an effect off of that? I have no idea, but I mean, it's unreal. This was 4 versus Pittsburgh. Like, you can't do this.
I could ask. I haven't asked about this, but it doesn't seem like they're ever on par. If the pitching's good, the hitting's not good. If the hitting's good, the pitching's not good, or the bullpen's bad. It just seems like they haven't found a way to put offense and defense together. And when you can't do that, you don't win any series.
Yeah.
Make some errors. You get a good pitching performance, but you make some errors, ruins that pitching performance, and all of a sudden you're looking back and you split it with the Pirates. You're looking up at a playoff spot, and you spent a lot of money, made a lot of moves. It's not working out.
And the thing I was trying to say was when they got Archie Bradley is like, okay, you just made your bullpen that much better. Like, I think they need to see the formula work. Like, go from Sonny to Bradley to Iglesias. Go from Bauer to Bradley to Iglesias. They had the lead in this game to take 3 out of 4 from Pittsburgh, and they just don't do it. Like, we can't talk about them. Just
Jakey,
wasted breath.
Stupid, though, is they're only 2 games out of a playoff series.
They're a good week away.
I mean, go on a run like the Phillies had, and they're going to be up, and they're going to have games to give in the playoff standings. It's crazy. So this season, man, we'll continue to talk about it. With so many teams getting in, no one's out, even as bad as the Reds have been. Yeah. You said it yourself. They won two series the entire year, yet here they are.
That might have to be another Jake and Trev made-up segment on the fly, is like, who's going to have the next Phillies run? Like, what team is it? Because if you win 9 out of 10, you're in the playoffs. Like that, you could say that for about 75% of the league, which is nuts.
And you're hot going into the playoffs, which everybody knows. You got to be hot when you go into the playoffs. Those are the teams that win World Series, the hot teams.
The hot teams. Speaking of hot,
you want to talk about our bet a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump to that Detroit-Minnesota series. For those that don't know, we stumbled into I don't know
how we got there. I'm not really sure either.
Things were hot on Friday. Who remembers? But we were saying that Detroit, they've got a chance. We were saying if they could win Game 1 of the doubleheader on Friday against Minnesota, they could really make Minnesota go tight B-hole. And then that led into a whole discussion about, Minnesota. You confidently said they were going to win all 5. We both reacted. You came down and you said 4, and it's very real and could happen tonight. Then the tweets come out later, and in a classic Trevor Plouffe move, what you do is you slightly move the goalposts.
Just a little.
So it went from, if they take 5 games, I'll get 1 cat scratch, to then it went, if they win 4 games, Jake will get 2 cat scratches. Real bad deal on my end. And if that doesn't happen, you said you would get the Dobnak. I was pushing for the Nelson Cruz, but the Dobnak's a little sillier. And here we are, Trev. They snaked literally the first 3 games.
They did. I mean, I could say the same thing about the Tigers in Game 4.
It's true.
It's been a back-and-forth series. Yeah. My confidence was very high yesterday when the Twins went up 6-2. I said, I believe in this bullpen. And then Trevor May comes out, gives it up. Tyler Duffy comes in, gives it up. Sergio Romo comes in, gives it up. The bullpen let me down. It's okay. It's okay. Because tonight, it's for all the marbles. We got Fulmer, I believe, for the...
Isn't it the Michaels? Tigers. Fulmer and Pineda.
And Big Mike for the Twins.
Yeah.
So it's all coming down to tonight. The 5-game set comes to a close. Will I look like an idiot tomorrow with my Fu Manchu, or Jake looks super cool with his cat scratches on his eyebrows?
Thinking about doing it anyways. So it's kind of...
Do we both just do it?
I mean, you know my answer.
All right,
I've got a question for you.
Let's go to Bieber.
Before we go to Bieber, okay. I know you watched a little bit of this, your Twins. And I'll say, like, is Detroit playing with them? Because they are to a degree, but also, like, even in the game they won, the Detroit won yesterday, it felt like Minnesota was going to do it. Like, it has that you're playing a much better team effect, and you haven't won it until that final out is there.
It really feels like if Detroit isn't up big going into the last half of the game, that Minnesota has a chance and a really real chance to win the game. That's the kind of vibe that I've got watching those games. But they're pesky, man. Like, they're getting hits when they need to, making plays when they need to. So this is I give so much credit to the Tigers. The Tigers and the Orioles, we drug them through the mud, man.
Yeah.
And they're still hanging in there. So we have to give some credit to the guys. They're doing it. Some young guys stepping up, some old guys stepping up. I think we made the mistake of calling Detroit a young team. They're not.
They're a nice little mix, and it's got to be.
Now they've gotten better.
It's got to be a fun watch. Like, if you're a Tigers fan, and that's kind of all you ask, right? I mean, you've got some of your big prospects up. You're always watching Miggy Cabs get it done. So, hey, and I've got a reason to tune into the game tonight. You mentioned Bieber. Speaking of, you said stay hot before, just waltzing to the AL Cy Young.
And possibly the MVP. I mean,
yeah,
like,
the AL MVP.
He's got a chance. I'm curious. I never faced him, and I want to know. I wanted to get a scouting report. Like, what's it like to be in the box? Yesterday, they were playing the Brew Crew. Obviously, we have some friends there, so I sent a text out. I said, "What's up with Bieber? Like, tell me what it's like to be in the box against him." The text I got back was pretty much what you'd expect. He goes, "Really good command of 4 pitches. He short arms the ball so it gets on you. He's legit. He barely throws any strikes when he's ahead. His fastball is very straight, but there's life on it." First sentence is all you need to know. Command of 4 pitches and 4+ pitches. When you have a guy that can do that, your day in the box sucks. You don't know what to do. You're guessing. You're trying to get into a count, and you're like, I hope this is the pitch. But when a guy can command 4 pitches, he can go anywhere at any time. And, he's just got plus stuff. Short arming the ball, that's tough. Seems like you need to see him 3 or 4 times to get your timing on him. But really, when you watch him pitch, it's like watching DeGrom pitch. Like, they look very similar. And when you put a guy in that stratosphere, DeGrom stratosphere, that's rarefied air, man.
And those could be your 2 Cy Young winners this year, although Darvish has something to say about that too.
Max Fried has something to say about that.
Max Fried as well, although have you seen the velo stuff going around, Trev? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think Fried's fastball has had average fastball has gone from 94 to 91, which has everybody with an eyebrow up.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, dude, and we did this a little bit last ep. Dude, just look at Cleveland. They get 6 innings every time out. 6 innings, 1 earned run. Like, that's the average Cleveland start, basically, which...
That's how you win games, man.
It's nuts. It's just nuts. What else do we got? White Sox dominate the Royals. I wish we could talk about you more, White Sox. Maybe we will, but, I mean, Kansas City just outgunned. A lot of teams are outgunned against the White Sox, to be honest. Luis Robert batting 7th in their lineup for funsies. Some of their guys, Edwin's getting it going, Grandal, they're silly. And then, I don't know, I mentioned also the Cubs and Darvish. Darvish has another incredible start, basically untouchable. But the Cardinals, man, they're coming. Talk about a team that's just been, ever since their COVID stuff and the NL being a mess, they're technically 1.5 games out on the Cubbies. Flair.
We talked about them. Like, they have so many games to make up. We don't know what is going on with this Cardinals team. Now they're starting to get back. They still are behind in the games played. But, yeah, man, they're sitting they're sitting in the tied for the 5th spot tied for the 5th spot in the playoffs. They got the starting pitching.
Yeah.
We all know that's what makes the world turn, man.
And, Trev, it's almost – I won't say it's an advantage. I'll say this. They're playing so many of these doubleheaders that as a player you can kind of get used to it and know what you're getting into on a given day. But also when Waino or Flaherty or, Kim or whoever's pitching for you, the way Wainwright's been pitching this year, basically you get a complete game. for one of those doubleheaders. Like, it's kind of, I don't know. Cardinals got a good thing going on.
You know my favorite stat?
Favorite stat?
Team stat.
Plus, minus, differential.
Run differential. Cardinals now sitting 4th in the National League with a plus 26, and they played less games.
Less games, too.
The Cubs are only at a plus 9. The only other team after the Dodgers, the Braves, the Padres, the Cubs, and St. Louis, there's one other team in the NL with a positive run differential of plus 1. Can you guess the team without looking?
Plus 1. You said the Padres, right?
Dodgers, Braves, Padres, Cubs, St. Louis.
I mean,
one other team.
It's either the Phillies or like the Giants.
The Mets with a plus 1 run differential. Jakey's Mets.
I'm in on them. They went and
Philly's
got
close,
guys.
San Francisco's close. Miami's close. They're all right around 0. The Dodgers sitting at a hunch.
Jesus.
Running away with it.
Are we just gonna laugh at the end of the season and be like, "Oh yeah, the Dodgers won"? Because
they got Mookie Betts to add their already ridiculous roster.
They're incredible.
They brought up guys that are aces on any other staff from their farm system.
Just stupid.
Yeah, they're a good team, man.
All right, West Coast Trev, it's all you, Big Daddy.
I'm gonna run through this.
Tell me everything.
All right. We had the D-backs up in San Francisco for a 3-game set. The first game goes to the back, 6-5. Tyler Anderson gives up 4 earned runs in 2 innings for San Francisco to get the L. Second game, turn it back around, 4-3. The Giants win. It's Bumgarner versus Trevor Cahill. He gets a back-to-back homers. One of them was by one of my favorite teammates ever, Longoria, the ageless wonder over there at third base. Go give his baseball reference page some love when you get a chance. And in the rubber match, the Giants end up taking it. They keep winning series. 4-2 they win. Cueto goes 5 2/3 doing some silly shit on the mound. I don't know if you saw some of the highlights. It's getting more and more silly every time he pitches. Brandon Bell, Donnie Batts, and Trump all hit 400-foot-plus homers. That's because the ball is juiced. Don't give these guys that much credit. Giants take that series 2-1. Heading down to Anaheim, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim of Orange County hosting the Astros. And guess what happens, Jake? They sweep them 6-5 LA in game 1. They walked it off in the 11th on an Ohtani single. I didn't even know he was still playing. Thought he was hurt, but I guess that's just his arm. Bundy shoves it up your ass with another good start. McCullers threw 18 pitches, gave up a single, a homer. He walked Rendon, Ohtani, Ward, then went to the IL with neck nerve irritation. And this was a game I said we got to watch Lance McCullers Jr. because I like him, and on any other team, I think he'd be awesome. So a little bit, I'll send some good vibes over there to Lance.
Good vibes.
Game
Lance.
2 goes 10-9 to the Angels. It's a 7-inning game. The Astros take the lead in the 7th with 3 runs, but the Angels take the lead right back with 3 of their own and walk it off for the second night in a row on a Joe Adele single. Game 3, 7-6 Angels. The Angels scored 3 in the last inning again to come back and win the game. This time, it was a 3-run shot by that guy they paid all that money to, Anthony Rendon. He's getting it going. And like I said, they won all the games. So game 4 goes 9-5. LA wins it. Framber Valdez, friend of the pod, he gives up 5 runs over 7 innings. Probably his worst start of the year. The game was tied at 5. Then Dusty brought Framber back out for the 8th, and he gave up 4 runs. The Astros had 37 hits and scored 25 runs in this series, but they lost all 4 games. That's a tough one to swallow. I don't feel bad. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Up in Oakland, San Diego and Oakland. Now, the Jersey Bowl is what I like to call it. These sparkling jerseys, the brown and yellow versus the gold and green, whatever you want to call it. They looked horrible together. I thought it was going to be amazing. It looked horrible. I don't ever want to see it again.
Wow.
The aesthetics were disgusting. Anyways, game 1 goes to the Padres 7-0. Zach Davies versus baby Jesus Luzardo. Davies goes 7 innings pitched with 0 earned runs. Luzardo, He's good through 4. Then he gave up 4 runs after that. And Fernando Tatis Jr. with 3 RBIs in that game. Game 2, 8-4 Oakland. Paddock versus Manaea. The big boy is out there. 4 2/3 with 4 earned run for Paddock. Hasn't flipped the switch just yet, but they're looking for him to do that down the stretch. 5 innings pitched with 1 earned run for Manaea. Laureano went deep. And in the rubber match, San Diego takes it 5-3. Richards versus Fires. 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs for Richards. 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs for Fires. Tatis hits a mammoth 2-run home run. And then we had some sad news for the A's. Chappie leaves the game with a right hip strain. I haven't dug and got any information on that, but we send our best to our boy Chap. San Diego takes that series 2-1. We'll head to Seattle. There's a 3-game set. Texas Rangers, who are horrible, went in and lost all 3 games. The first game, 6-3, Seattle wins it. Yusei Kikuchi with a nice start. J.P. Crawford with a 3-run homer to blow it open. Gotta love the way he's been playing this year. Second game of the series, 5-3 Seattle. Sheffield versus Gibson. Our boy Sheffield with a good start. Mariners score 3 in the 8th to take the lead and win the game. And in the last game, going for the sweep, they get it 4-3. Justin Dunn with a nice start. 3 nice starts for Seattle. Yay! That was a Jomboy inclusion right there. Both Kyle's homer for Seattle. That's Lewis and Seager, and they have a 6-game winning streak. What if Seattle got hot? Are they in it enough? I doubt it. They kind of stink. Anyways, rounding things out in the West, Jake's Rocks down in L.A. 10-6. Game 1, Senzatella and Dustin May both gave up homers in the first and then both hand the ball to the bullpen in the 6th after decent outings. New addition, Michael Givens, gives up 2 runs in the 7th. Then Caleb Ferguson gave up a grand slam in the 8th. But Pollock, Peterson, and Betts homered in the 8th to take the lead, and Jancy got the save. That was an incredible game. They just kept hitting. Homer. They got the game. Game 2 goes 5-2 to Colorado. Rockies score 3 in the 9th to break the tie and grab the win. And in the rubber match, 8-7 Jake's Rocks win. They take the series 2-1. It was back and forth all day. Seager had 2 home runs. Matt Kemp had a revenge home run. It was the first time the Dodgers lost the series all season long. That's big news because guess what? The season's almost over. And they are ridiculous. That is what happened out west. How you feeling about those games, Jakey?
I love it. Fantastic job, Trevor Plouffe. The A's still control the AL West 3.5 games against Houston, who they're about to play, so that's going to be exciting.
Serious.
Mariners are 18-22. Is it a conversation? Not yet, but get hot, Seattle. Scare us. Scare the Yankees. The Angels, too little, too late. I almost gave them that award because they've got a few high WAR players, but it's just too little, too late, guys. Texas stinks, and in the NL, they stink. In the NL, the Dodgers 30-12, monsters. Padres 25-17. My Rockies are at 500. Giants are a half game below 500. D-backs stink. There's a lot I want to talk on the West Coast. Trev, you've heard it on the pregame show. I've been slowly falling in love with everything going on the West Coast. Let's be honest, I'm a Valley guy.
You're a Valley guy.
So this was at your start. Johnny Cueto, man. He is just being ridiculous on the mound, and I love it. And again, right now they are the 8th team in the NL. We'll see how that plays out. Dude, his stats on the year don't look great, if I'm being honest. He's got a 4.56 ERA. He's had an unbelievable MLB career. 3.38 career ERA.
Oh, yeah, there was a time where he was lights out.
I mean, almost 2,000 innings, and he's still doing it. So that's fun, I guess.
There was a highlight I watched. I encourage all the people to go watch it. He struck out Eduardo Escobar. I don't know how you find that highlight, but I saw it somewhere in his windup. It was like he went back, did 6 or 7 taps back, and then he did his leg kick up and then down and then up and then down and then turned around and then threw the ball to strike him out. It's got to be frustrating. I mean, if that happened back in the day,
oh yeah,
it'd be very frustrating. Now it's like Johnny's going to do it. and it's kind of like a little bit more common. So it's just like it just is what it is. But man, that would have hurt.
It's part of the game plan now.
It's degrading when you're hitting and this guy's just messing with you. Then he blows a fastball by you.
It also feels a little better though when you get him though, right? I mean, he's doing anything to trick you.
I mean,
and
you
you
gotta
still
like
get
do
him.
the shimmy when you hit a homer or something. You got to do something. Maybe like run to first base, then run back to home, and then back to first base again. That's what I would do.
Okay. Mad Bum returned to San Fran. I'm kind of over that series.
Yeah,
Angels 4-game sweep. Oh, and that highlight you mentioned of Cueto, I'm going to reference our friend twice this segment for two different things. Dallas Braden had a good tweet. He tweeted out that video, and he said when you're playing MLB The Show and your Wi-Fi disconnects, because that's what it looked like. It looked like Cueto was breaking in between each pitch.
You want to know his Wi-Fi is probably never going to disconnect. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because he's made over $140 million in his career.
God.
Oh my God.
That's nuts.
He's got 21 coming to him next year too. So we're going to chalk it up to 160 mil over the career. Johnny Cueto can do whatever he wants because it doesn't matter.
Like that's I guess that's just what I'm saying. The kids don't know who Johnny Cueto is. He's going to finish having made $165 million. Jeez, good for you, Johnny. All right, we're out of there. I'll stay with young friend Dallas because the other thing I wanted to mention from the A's series was that that Dallas was tweeting out Manaea was pumping mid-90s. I think 94, 95, which that's not normally where he sits. He's had a couple.
He should sit there.
He's had some decent starts, and again, like it becomes Oakland's only real question is how do you line up that rotation? Do you end up trusting baby Jesus? He gets knocked around a little bit. Manaea has had some good games, fires. I mean, it's kind of Oakland's. That's got to be their talk radio discussion every day. Padres end up taking 2 out of 3. Tatis is tied with Trout for the MLB lead in home runs. That's kind of awesome for baseball. Chappie was slumping too, so he leaves with the hip strain. I wonder if that had been bothering him and then got worse or something.
I think I saw something that Chappie struck out 7 at-bats in a row.
I think someone tagged us and was like, hey, put him on Slump Watch. But he got hurt.
It's tough. They need him, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the guys that makes that team go.
I mean,
even if he's not getting it done with the bat, you know what he brings on the defensive side. That's why he's so valuable. So they need him back. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Get him right before the postseason.
I mean, yeah, all-world player. So, and yeah, that again, these final 20 games of the season, how does your team look and what does it look like? Like if Matt Chapman can't play baseball and then who knows if Oakland loses another guy, that whole team looks different. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Pods keep rolling. Texas, Seattle, don't really care. Seattle, stay young, stay hot, get in the mix.
Texas, give up.
They have. Texas is done.
Get a new general manager, something.
Angels 4-game sweep, Trev. It's too little too late, but I don't know, man. If I'm Trout, I'm just like, what the hell? Like Andrelton Simmons comes back and he has some big hits. Rendon is actually having a low-key great year again. And then Dylan Bundy, he continues to drop some dick. I don't know. I don't know. Either get really hot, Angels, and make a storyline, or just die.
They're not going to get hot. They're still 5 games back from a playoff spot. They'd have to get extremely hot, and it's not going to happen. They don't have the pitching staff to do it. They just don't.
I want them to. I think people probably think I'm being silly, Jake, there. Get just nut job hot and make it a story of baseball. Trout and the Angels get hot.
Is there any scenario in the next 5 years that the Angels trade Mike Trout? Any scenario?
They would have to be.
Put him at 35.
They'd have to be like horrible in like 2-3 years, and then he says like, guys, I gotta go.
No opt-out clauses, I believe, in his contract. I'd have to go check it out because that would be Mike Trout testing the open market.
Oh my god!
At age anywhere below age 35, like I don't know, man. It's such a shame. It's such a shame. There's got to be something like that in other sports. Like Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl, but he's not Mike Trout.
Yeah.
And they probably made the playoffs at least. I don't know much about Dolphins history there, but I assume they made some playoffs with Dan Marino.
Made some playoffs.
I mean, we just barely get to see Mike in the playoffs, dude.
Yeah. No, it's like the flaw with baseball they're trying to figure out. It's like, how do you do something funny like you have if you're
what they
losing
do?
in the
They keep this shit.
Yeah. BBD, thoughts?
I can confirm no opt-outs, full no trade.
So there you go. Look good in pinstripes, Mike. Play left field for a couple years. Legs give out on you. Go to right field. It's a small right field. I don't know. Just something to think about.
What I always think is, like, what did Mike Trout get drafted? Like 37th overall or something like that?
25, 23,
27,
something like that. Yeah.
Every single team in front of them is just like, son of a bitch.
Didn't want to pay him a little extra signing bonus probably, and now look. Could have the best player ever.
Don't ever underestimate anybody from New Jersey. That's what I've learned, okay? New Jersey just really does it.
That's the story of this damn company.
Isn't it?
And then closing out, Trev, to get through all the games, the Rockies, man. They take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. I mean, Dodgers lose their first series of the year. This series meant a lot more to the Rockies than the Dodgers. But, hey, kind of like what I was saying about the Twins and the Tigers, like, the Dodgers always have that feeling of they're going to come and they're going to get you. But the Rocks fought, and they held them off in that last game, and they're at 500. Go Rocks. This probably meant a lot to them. I mean, this is their big brother to the umpteenth degree.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I just put yourself in like a pitcher's perspective going up against the Dodgers or just a different team. I mean, you're up 3 runs, but then you got to like get 12 more outs, and you're looking at Mookie and all these guys coming up all in a row. It's like, this is a 3-hole hitter. This is another 3-hole hitter. This is another 3-hole hitter. This is another 3-hole hitter. It doesn't stop with these guys.
Yeah.
It's got to be so tough, like grindy games that you just can't. This is like, this is going to be funny.
There we go.
I used to feel this way about the Houston Astros. And it was just like, you go in there and they were just going to come and just like keep going. Like, you had to score so many runs against them to feel comfortable. And even then you're like, dude, like they could do the same thing to us. Turns out they knew exactly what pitch was coming. So It was, that's why. But that's what it feels like for the Dodgers when you go up against them. It's an onslaught of terror. They're never out of a game. It seems like they're going to hit a home run every inning. And I just really hope they play to their full potential come playoff time. Like, I don't want to see like an early exit from the Dodgers, like on some random games. I want them to come and like show out. And if someone beats them, they beat them.
It's kind of become a joke on this show a little bit, but it's going to become a lot more real come playoff time. Because say you get, you mentioned the Phillies. What if they got the 8 seed? They got a lineup and they got 3 starting pitchers. Yeah. What if it's the Mets and at least you get a DeGrom game? You can win that pretty easily. What if it's Cincinnati and they're 3 horses? So
Cincinnati and LA is what I am praying for happens.
It would be awful for baseball if they lost in a 3-game set, to be honest, but it might slow down playoff expansion. So, and dude, it really is nutty. Jock hasn't really gotten it going at all. Bellinger's been pedestrian this year. But dude, like AJ Pollock's a really good baseball player. Will Smith with a 988 OPS from the catcher spot. Corey Seager's been nuts. Muncy hasn't even gone off yet. I mean, this team
they're gonna get going.
Hasn't even
Turner's
hit their
hurt right now.
Hasn't even hit their potential yet. That's the scary part. I think that's the West Coast, Trev. Beautiful stuff. I think we'll go into standout performance.
Let's do it.
Before we do that, Trev, did you know that the football season starts this week?
I did know that, dude. I'm so excited.
I know you did that. And now is the time to celebrate, to kick off football's and first season. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all users a no-brainer to start the season. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook yet, head to the App Store now because you do not want to miss this. Have you ever heard of a football team losing by 101 points? Well, for week 1, DraftKings is ensuring that even if KC were to lose in historic fashion, you would still cash your bet. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook has moved the spread to 101 points. Guys, I mean, this is free money. They're giving away free money for all users. Even if Kansas City loses by 100, you still win big with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a no-brainer. Plus, DraftKings is giving away up to $100 million in prizes to all who enter their free football survivor pool. All you have to do is sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook, enter their survivor pool, and you'll instantly get a share of up to $100 million. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code Jomboy to take advantage of this no-brainer offer. That's promo code Jomboy to get in on all of the action for a limited time only. Football starts this week. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Bang. Trev.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you just heard was 30 years of watching sports programming with ads. Either way, we are in our standout performance. Standout performance. You know, it could be a game, it could be a moment, it could be whatever. My standout was easy. He's a guy I love. I fell in love with him when we started doing this show last year. It's Ronald Acuna Jr., the outfielder for the Braves, splitting in center field and right field this year. Throw NCarte out there for defense sometimes. Why are we talking about him? Ronald Acuna had a 2-homer game this week, in 7 innings, by the way. He also followed up the 2 games after that with home runs, I believe. He breaks the Braves record for leadoff home runs to lead off a game. He's 22.
I'd say he's like 14 years old.
He's 20. He's 14-ish. And Trev, I mean, I like to lump it in with what's going on the season normally too. 286 batting average. A 425 on base, and I guess that's the thing that kind of blows me away with these young guys, and we've talked about it a little bit, but young guys aren't supposed to have that. Like him and Soto have these on-base numbers that if you look over the history of sport, as the older you get, the better your eye gets, the more pitches you've seen, and everything you know. Like, how they technically project on-base stuff is scary, and so he ends up over the past 4 days going 5 for 12, 6 walks, by the way. So 4 out of 5 homers, 6 walks. That's a 611 on base, a 2 OPS. And by the way, he plays a pretty good center and right field when he's out there. Trev, I always get caught up, and if you want to correct me on this phrase, but where I normally land is, this dude is Manny Ramirez, but with elite speed. And, like, that's scary.
He can do it all. And
Yeah.
I love what you said about the young guys and just how they're able to come up and handle big league pitching.
Like,
it didn't used to
what?
happen that way, dude. You had to be special. Maybe these guys are just special, and we just happen to have a bunch of special dudes playing the game right now. But when you look at what we have, Ronald Acuna, I always say that my favorite of this bunch, and I'll say this bunch is Acuna, Bo Bichette. I'm throwing Luis Robert in there now.
Yeah.
And Juan Soto. I'm probably missing a few other guys that are just absolute monsters, but those are the guys I'm talking about now. I always say Juan Soto to me looks like he's the best bet to just like always do it. But the game is in such good hands. I mean,
Yeah.
Ron Acuna has been around for 2 years. He already has 11 WAR. He's 14 years old. So this guy, they're all just special, man.
Yeah.
And he was almost a 40-40 guy last year. They're probably telling him to stop stealing bases because we want you just to be a monster. I think he ended up with 39 stolen bases.
37, 39. Let me see. I'm there. 37. It led the league. Led the league in runs last year. Trev, he's played 294 career games. He has a 911 OPS. His hitting is as good as it's been right now, a 176 OPS plus. And I'm glad you brought it up because I meant to. But I think it's funny that we've got some new shiny objects this year. Tatis is full blown. Luis Robert is stupid. There hasn't been a lot of Ronald talk this year, and the Braves are the 1 seed, and he's again like 22, and we just kind of forget. So I wanted to give Ronnie some love, my guy. Fun to watch play.
I can't believe all the young talent we have right now.
Easy oppo juice, Trev, which I know that's a big one for you. So that's Ronnie. Trev, who's your standout performance?
I dug deep for this one. I think the Pirates fans out there need a little love every once in a while. And our guy Kotuck co-signed on this. Kotuck co-signed on this a while back. We said, I think you asked the question. You said, who is a guy in Pirates camp that we need to watch for? That was one of your favorite questions you asked him, and immediately he said Ke'Bryan Hayes. Now Ke'Bryan Hayes comes up, he makes his debut. He's 17 at-bats into his big league career, and guess what his OBP is?
1,000.
420, baby. He's on
Dang.
that good stuff. He's got 7 hits. He's stacked all the categories already. That means he has in 7 hits in his career a homer, a triple, a double, and those singles. Kotuck didn't even talk about his offense.
Yeah.
He talked about his defense, and we've seen it already on display. This guy can really play. He's not 21 like the rest of the guys, but this guy is someone, if you're a Pirates fan, you can get very, very excited about. And there are a few guys on the team you can get excited about. It's not going to happen this year, but he's been doing it. I want to give him a shout out just because we heard about him first. He's come up. He's done really well. And I think the Pirates, you got to throw him a bone every once in a while to those Pirate fans out there in Pittsburgh. Go Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Go Ke'Bryan. Go Kotuck.
I need to look this up.
23.
23. So hey, that used to be the young number. Like that used to be you're young, but now all these 20-year-olds are kind of ruining it. And yeah, man, it's interesting because if you look at the Pirates, Josh Bell having a tough year. We'll see what happens with him going forward. Newman and Frazier were all right last year. They haven't been great. Brian Reynolds, hopefully he gets it going. He just had a kid, and he was really good last year. I mean, Ke'Bryan, I feel like, is going to be a cornerstone of this team. He's like those other guys I just mentioned. A couple of them are 27, 28, and when this Pirates thing gets figured out, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be, I don't know. I think Ke'Bryan and Brian Reynolds are the 2 guys that are going to be there. Of course, Cole Tucker doing everything for them. But when you're talking about building blocks for the future and the 2023 Pirates, I think Ke'Bryan Hayes is going to be there, and is he going to bat 2-hole or is he going to bat 7-hole? Because everything about the defense has been Chapman Arenado, which is nutty.
Hey! I know.
I know
that too.
That Kotuck said it.
Pump it a little bit.
Kotuck said it. So
still got a little bit of slapdick in him. He's got to really shed that title. All right.
You don't have to tell me. So I'm interested to see what his game becomes offensively. Are you a contact guy? Are you gap to gap? Are you trying to hit some yackers when that body fills in a little bit? Interested to see how he develops. And yeah, man, good. Not a bad way to come up.
And a pedigree. Yeah. Charlie Hayes, 1996 World Series champ with who? The Yankees.
New York Yankees.
So Dad was a big leaguer, played third base, and here comes Ke'Bryan following in Dad's footsteps. Cool story. A guy that we're rooting for. A friend of the pod. We do follow each other on Twitter and Instagram. So basically, we're best friends. I'm sure we'll have him on sometime soon.
Charlie Hayes led the league in doubles in 93. So how about that?
How about it, baby?
Get
and
in
that. Something that me and Charlie Hayes have in common? Led the league and grounded in double plays.
Hell yes. Trev, fantastic standout performer. There were a lot of options who I think we're going to talk about the rest of them in. And Fuego, do we have the clip, BBD? He's thinking about it.
Nasty's on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Trev, I'll say a bunch of names, and then I'll probably let you riff out of who stands out there, and then I'll dig up some stats. The pitchers that jumped out, Darvish is going nut job. I think he's the leader for NL Cy Young. 1 hit, 11 Ks. Zach Davies for the Padres is having a really nice year. Really nice year. DeGrom does what DeGrom does. I'm throwing Waino on here, 2.68 on the year. What he's doing at his age is just stupid. And then hitter-wise, I got a couple big mashers. Eugenio Suarez has gotten it going. Pete Alonso has gotten it going. A couple guys that were around the 50 number last year for homers. That's stupid.
Kyle?
How about that, Pimpin' Kyle? Trey Turner has stayed hot for a while now. People just tweet that at me all the time, so I put him on there. Your guy, Rowdy Tellez, has been hot. I got Springer has gotten it going. Corey Seager for the Dodgers has been going off stupid. And, of course, Mike Trout lands on the list. So, Trev, if any of those guys stand out more than the other, I'll let you run with it.
I want to give a shout out to the guys that don't get shout outs right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to go like backdoor here. I'm going to talk about Rowdy Tellez.
Okay, yeah. Bang.
If he's on a different team, if he's on the Yankees, you're talking about him like he's
yeah.
Luke Voigt.
He can hit.
He's a big bopper. He's fun to watch. I got to see him
Voigt.
up close
That's all
and personal in the bushes.
Ooh.
In 3A. And this guy was, I want to say we almost got into a fight with them.
Definitely.
He was
plays
popping
angry.
off, and I was popping off because I wasn't going to take any shit from those scrubs.
Yeah.
And then I think we all had beers afterwards, and we were all good. So that's the kind of guy we're dealing with here.
Okay.
Rowdy's doing it. I mean, if you look at what he's doing this year, he's got a 361 OBP, 923 OPS, 146 OPS plus. I thought he had more than 8 homers, but he's up there, and he's doing it every day for him. And when you got the baby Blue Jays, the Buffaloes, you don't talk about Rowdy Tellez. You talk about, Lourdes Gurriel. You talk about Guerrero Jr. We talk about Bichette. We talk about Biggio. We talk about Pearson. Hey, Rowdy's holding his own. A little bit older. He's 25. But you got a big bopper like this, and you can put him in the middle of the order. That's kind of – if Rowdy's not doing this, they're not where they're at in the standings.
Yeah.
You kind of got to give a shout-out, give credit where credit is due. Go Rowdy, man. And you got an awesome name.
Awesome name.
Thing about who's your name.
I mean, Rowdy Tellez. I mean, I'm all into that. He was a legit hitting prospect coming up. It was, are you going to play the field? That's becoming the question for a couple of those big Jays. But, hey, if you have a 923 OPS, they'll find a spot for you. And people, I don't know, maybe we don't talk about the actual baby Jays a lot. They have been really hot, and their lineup is deep. I mean, dude, I think Teoscar got banged up the other day, which you'll hear his name in a second.
Him.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that nuts? Like, they can go Vlad, Cavan, Bo when he's healthy. Travis Shaw fell off a little bit, but he's got a history. Lourdes, Grichuk, Hernandez, Tellez. I mean, they can send 8 guys at you in a given day. They just picked up VR at the trade deadline. That guy's a hitter. So, man, they...
I talk a little bit of crap to the analytics community.
Absolutely. Always.
I'm not like the biggest detractor from analytics. I like them. I use them. I want to understand them more. I look at simulations, and I make decisions based off those sometimes.
Sure.
Rowdy's 2020 simulated stats. You want to know what they are?
I do.
They have him hitting 205. Have him slugging 420 with a 279 on base percentage for a 700 OPS. And Rowdy said, nah, guys, I play real sports.
Right.
I'm going to have a 360 on base percentage and a 923 OPS. So take your simulation and shove it. Gotta love that, because Rowdy. I'm just telling you this right now. I don't really know him that well. No way he likes the analytical side of things. He just wants to mash.
Not an analytics guy,
I
Rowdy
see it
Tellez.
and I hit it.
Not a big analytics guy.
Well, What
Wow.
if he is? What if he's like going with like a fine tooth
Oh
comb,
my
like a big
God.
like magnifying glass?
I love it. I mean, show us, Rowdy. Yeah, I like that you went there because the other guys, I mean, their names you hope baseball people know. Pete Alonso, if he could get going and the Mets get fun, that's a good time. Suarez, Cincinnati's needed him. Hopefully he can go nut job. There was a lot of hitters. I mean, Yairo Munoz almost got on here, our guy. Corey Seager might even get more on him later. Tim Anderson probably should have been on this. There was a lot of hitters that had really good performances. And, yeah, I mean, some big-name pitchers and Zach Davies. So, anything else on the Hot Boys, Trev? Otherwise,
I'm gonna talk about one of them later.
okay. That's a teaser. In the biz, we call that a teaser. Zach Davies keeps shoving. That Brewers-Padres trade keeps looking good for the Padres. We'll stay hot for now. And we'll stay hot with the race to 20. Before this season, we teamed up with Roosevelt's rsvlts.com/Jomboy. And Vegas said, hey, anybody going to hit 20 yackers this year? Me and Jomboy said that's a layup. BBD said that's a layup. Espo said that's a layup. Kyle, layup season. Trevor Plouffe said, I don't know, guys. I think it's happening. But we even got Trevor on board, and early on, it looked easy. Yeah, someone's going to hit 20. Someone might hit 30. I think Smoltz said that on a national broadcast. Johnny. Trev, it's getting tight. We currently have, Jomboy just sent me one, and I have an updated fan one, so I've got 2 charts that are now tracking it. Right now, we've got 3 guys on pace to hit over 20 homers, and one of those guys just got banged up, Teoscar Hernandez. So right now, I think it's coming down to the 2 guys on top of the leaderboard, also probably the 2 best players in baseball right now, Mike Trout and Fernando Tatis Jr. They each have 15 home runs. They have 18 games left, so 18 games to hit 5 homers is going to be tight. They need a big series.
Real tight.
They need a big weekend or something. Otherwise, they could be screwed. The rest of the leaderboard, Nelson Cruz still in the mix. He's got 13 homers. Mookie's got 13. Voigt's got 13. Jose Abreu and Ozuna with 13 each. Those guys are pretty much on pace for 19. So, again, a big series gets them right back in the mix. From lower down on the leaderboard, I mean, Suarez is coming back. Can he get super hot? Our guy Ian Happ having a hell of a year, dude.
Yes, he is.
Juan Soto, he's fallen off pace a little bit for us. So, yeah, man, I mean, a deep cut is either going to have to get really hot, which, hey, there's names. I mean, Luis Robert, Soto, Eloy, Bellinger is around, and he's kind of been bad. So, like, if one of those guys can get hot, they can get back in the mix, but it's going to be tight, Plouffe.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm like, how many games these guys have played? Is there anyone on the Cardinals that, is
Right.
there? This is interesting, and I'm kind of glad it comes down to guys like Mike Trout and Fernando Tatis because it makes it interesting because those guys could hit 3 home runs in one game. Then all of a sudden they're there.
Right.
I knew it was going to be tough. And it seemed like it was going to be easy, but over the long haul of the season, you're going to have the ebbs and flows. Mike and Fernando sitting at 15. How many games they got left?
They each have 18 left.
So you got to figure they're both going to play in 16 of those.
17. Nando's young.
Okay, give him 17.
Yeah.
5 homers and 17. That's one a series. And it's very doable for these players, but still. That's one a series is good. Like if you're hitting one a series, you're feeling spicy.
Real good.
Yeah.
And I mean, those Angels about to get hot. It's going to be the story of baseball. So
if Fernando or Mike or one of these guys with 13 doesn't have like one big series, then it's not going to happen.
So here's what I'll say. If I'm down to 2 guys, these might be the 2 guys I want, which is fine. I also think one more name is going to work his way back. I've been kind of on a Mookie angle.
I was going to say Mookie's got it.
he's tied for the record with most 3 home run games. If he could pull one of those or a 2-homer game, you're right back. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mookie get in the mix.
Mookie versus like a bad bullpen and just like crack.
D-backs have maybe given up. I don't know if they've got them on the schedule. Yeah. But yeah, Mookie, one big day. God, it's going to be close. I like the 2 guys whose hands it's currently in.
How about the Bear, Marcelo Ozuna, dude? This is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome to watch this and see how close or if we do go over that 20 mark.
I gave the Braves fans a little bit of an apology. I gave a lot of speeches this offseason how I don't think Ozuna can replace Donaldson, and he's done that and some. He's been awesome. So good for Ozuna. Trev, on the other side of the coin.
I'll let you handle this. I don't like talking about slumps.
Slump Watch. I don't either, but you'll like this first part. The first part of Slump Watch, we always check in on Joey Gallo because people were frustrated with him. And since we've been tracking, rightfully so, Rangers fans, because he goes 2 for 9 with a homer, no walks, 4 Ks,
shot homer,
an absolute bomb, which is cool. But Trev, his daily game log, like, it's frustrating. He's got no support. He needs help in the lineup.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
If we're taking shots at analytics, they don't believe in lineup protection. And tell me when you look at Joey Gallo getting walked 6 times in a series, he needs some help.
They need to take into account lineup protection. It is a thing. I mean, come on. How is that? How do they not know how to figure that out?
Go get Clint and Andujar from the Yankees. Speaking of the Yankees, Trev, I've got the whole team on Slump Watch. They have been sad.
The whole fan base.
The whole fan base. Everyone.
Everybody.
If you got pinstripes, you're on Slump Watch. Their guys have been ugly. You can package, I think, 6 guys in their lineup for the past 3 weeks, and they're hitting $140. It's ugly. It's really ugly right now. Hopefully help is on the way, but the whole Yankees are on there. This next one's tough. He was on here last episode. I went back into the sheet, and oh no, it's gotten worse. Whit Merrifield is 1 for his last 30, Trev. And man, in this short season, I'll tell you what that does. Whit Merrifield went from hitting .296 and having a .867 OPS, really nice for him, to .248 and a .726 OPS. That's gnarly, man. That's gnarly. I hope Whit comes out of it.
Whit's got a sneaky baseball reference page, a lot of bold on his stat column. Stolen bases, hits, triples,
he's a gamer.
Bats.
Whit's a gamer, man. Hopefully he comes out and finishes the year just as hot as how cold he is right now. Javi Baez, Trev, having a tough year. 2 for 17. He's hitting .171. He has a negative WAR this year. Javi, what's up with that, man? And then I threw a couple southpaws on here. Johnny Lester, his last 5 starts, he's getting knocked around. 9.64 ERA. 1 out of 5 have been good starts. And this last one's a little bit of a spin. Patrick Corbin, he hasn't been awful. It's a 5.22 ERA in his last 5, and a couple nice starts in there. But the bigger thing that stood out to me was the stats, Trev. Guys are hitting, in this 5-game stretch, guys are hitting .322 with a .932 OPS. So you're turning every hitter into Franmil Reyes, when last year his batting average OPS was .227, .688. So Corbin, part of the reason that we're not talking any Nats on this programming.
Got the bag,
man. And that's I won't overstep because they got the ring last year, and again, abbreviated season. His numbers still look okay, but that was
sounds like he's falling behind a lot. He's a pitcher that needs to get ahead and be able to throw his wipeout stuff.
Yeah. And that's again, short season, not going to jump to conclusion, but the whole thing about Corbin was the extra year of that contract, and we'll see. I mean, they used him a lot. I'm not, by no way am I saying he's washed, but if you're a Nats fan, it's going to be an interesting start to next year for Corbin to see what he looks like. So that's Slump Watch. We don't even like Slump Watch. We don't like doing Slump
I don't
Watch.
like it.
No, it's kind of not our bag at all. We have the Who Got Mad segment. Sounds like Bauer got mad because Cincy stinks. Did anyone else get ejected or get real mad? I don't know. Joe West? Oh, my
West,
God.
yeah.
I'm not talking about him.
Don't talk about Joe West.
He does not deserve to be talked about. God, infuriates me.
We do all this work on the show.
I got mad.
We got mad.
We got mad at Joe West.
We try to show umpires love on this show. We try to convey them as human beings, man, who have an awesome vantage point into our game of baseball. And then there's Joe West, who just ruins it. Joe West, Angel Hernandez, CB Buckner, you guys ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah. No,
If I was in the umpires union, I would say, let's all raise our hands and take a vote. Who wants Joe to go?
Yeah.
I guarantee if you just did a blind vote, it'd be a lot of people.
90% minimum is
And
what I have.
you know,
at.
he's done a lot. They have a lot of respect for him. He's umpired a lot of games, but man, sometimes you just gotta go, dude. When it's
He's
your
just-
time to go, just go. It's his time to go.
20 years ago, it was his time to go. Yeah, it stinks. Him and Angel Hernandez.
So we got mad.
Him and Angel Hernandez are more well known than 95% of big leaguers. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
just frustrating.
Oh, please don't say it because they love it. They
Oh,
love that shit.
I know, and that's part of the problem. So we got mad at
got
them.
mad.
How about that? Trev, wrapping up to the award section. I'll go first, and I'm gonna hit it hard and fast. You know that's how Daddy does it. I'm going with the Strong Side Bros Award. Left side, strong side. Left side, strong side. These boys both play on the left side, but they're strong side, man. And it's Corey and Kyle Seager. Corey Seager is stupid.
Yes.
Trev, he's got a 311 batting average, 377 on base, and a 1.01 OPS from the shortstop spot. That doesn't happen. Guys don't do that. Look at Frankie Lindor's numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They're really nice. And he's a better defender, blah, blah, blah. He's not a one-dot guy. Corey's 26 years old. He's an people mention him afterwards when they talk Dodgers, because you should talk about Mookie and Belly. But man, what he's doing is special. They were trying to throw him into trades for Frankie and other things. He looks incredible this year. He hits 2 homers the other day. Trev, one was easy Oppo juice. I don't know if it was him or the ball, but it was nice. And then I like giving Kyle a shout out whenever I can, because his big bro, who's been doing it for almost a decade, has an 863 OPS this year, 374 on base. He's just a really good ball player. He got the bag, and then he had his worst year, so people kind of started disliking him. He's bouncing back pretty good. Don't know if you've seen Trev. He's got a nice beard right now with the touch of gray going on. Very big daddy vibes. Very big daddy vibes. And, I mean, dude, for what he's done at third base, you can speak about it a lot better than me. But the other thing that impressed me about him was from 2012 to 2018, Kyle Seager averaged 157 games played. He's been out there every day for the Mariners. It's not a hitter's ballpark. Like, if you put Kyle Seager, if he played his whole career in Texas, I think we'd be talking about kind of a different ball player. But he's really good. 1 All-Star game, 1 Gold Glove. Baby Bro might put him and that big contract under the table very soon. Seager Bros deserve some love. Again, and going back to baseball and umps getting love and stuff, if these guys were in the NBA, how cool would the Seager Bros be?
Yeah, we talk about the Lopez brothers, for God's sake.
Right? Jeez.
I love that you went there, and I have a ton of friends that are diehard Dodger fans. And one thing they said, this is before Mookie came over, and they love to talk their team up. They love the Dodgers. They've disappointed them, but they know they're good. And they were saying, you know what? Corey Seager's our best player, and nobody gives him any love.
Yeah.
And obviously Mookie's there now. Changes things. But a guy like Corey Seager just to have, like you say, like, you know, nobody talks about Corey Seager, but there he is in the middle of your infield, doing it at the plate and really anchoring the lineup in a time where Belly's struggling. No, this guy's a stud, man. And Kyle, on the other hand, he's Mr. Reliable. He plays all the time. He's going to give you 25 to 30 homers. He's going to give you 80 to 100 ribbies. He's going to play good defense. You know, his contract seemed like a lot. 7 years, $100 million. It seems like a lot. It's not that much for a guy like him.
Yeah.
That's a pretty dang good contract for the Mariners to have on a guy like Kyle Seager. You know, whatever it is, it's $14 million a year for a guy like that. It's a bargain for them. The way he goes out there and just kind of leads, and he'll be the guy. If the Mariners come and they do the whole rebuild thing, they have the young guys, Kyle Seager will have as much influence on their success as anybody, because he's going to teach these guys, you know, the way to go about things, the way to play, be professional, to play the games, prepare your body. I mean, they're seeing it. It's an example right in front of them, and that's what you need when you're trying to build these young guys up. You need a figure, some guy for them to go to and ask about how to be a Major League Baseball player, and they have that, and maybe one of the best in the league in Kyle Seager. Yeah,
and it's crazy, and this is, he gets hurt in 2018. He only plays 26 games. He comes back the next year, and it feels like a quote-unquote down year. He led the league in doubles. He had an .817 OPS, and now he's bouncing back, and good for him. The dude's already got 2 silver sluggers in the bag at age 26. He's the starting shortstop on what could be an all-time team. Not to go Cornyville, but, I mean, shortstop. Really? With a 1. OPS. Like, this guy should be a star of stars. He should be spoken with Belly, potentially. People might get mad at that. That's my award. Seager Bros. They're like brother stats. They're going to end up like kind of all-time-ish.
Yeah, probably.
That's cool. How about that?
All right.
Trev, who's your award?
My award is the Grandma's Not Gonna Like It award. Now, stay with me a little bit. Have you ever gone to brunch? Say you went to Brent's Deli. Shout out Brent's Deli. Say, you know what? I feel like keeping it light today. Let me get a bagel. And your grandma looks at you. She's like, oh, you're going to get lox. No, Grandma. I'm getting the smoked trout dip. You want to know why, Grandma? You can get the lox. Because salmon is not as good as trout. Mike Trout. Hits his 300th homer, passes Tim Salmon for the most career home runs by an Angels player. He's 29 years old. Not only that, he becomes the fastest player in Major League history to go 300 homers and 200 stolen bases. He does it about 60 games faster than Willie Mays did it. I don't know if we can, what else there is to say about a guy like Mike Trout. I used to tell people all the time, like, it's tough to think about, like, he's the best player to ever play the game. Sometimes he shows it, and then other times you're just like, yeah, he's a good player, but like the best player of all time. But he does it every freaking year, all year long. There's no let up. It's like a guy that just keeps punching. It's crazy. And there's another baseball reference page you should probably go check out. Go check out a Mike Trout baseball reference page.
No joke.
It's insane what he's done. It's a shame he's been on the Angels for all of those years. But in a sport where we need to give our stars some more credit, like, this guy's the star of the stars. He's baseball royalty already. He's already a Hall of Famer at 29 years old. He's surpassed many Hall of Fame numbers, career WAR, we know about that. But I mean, what's going to be cool with Trout as he continues to do this, we're going to see these milestones keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And you're going to be like, man, I watched the best player of all time. We watched his entire career right in front of us, and people need to like get some perspective and think about that. Like, you get a chance to go see Mike Trout. 2021 comes along, and we're allowed to go to games again. Go watch an Angels game, man. Like, go see this guy play in person, because he's going to end up being the best player of all time.
And it's nutty, man. And I wanted to make a him traded to the Yankees in 3 years joke, but as a Yankee fan, I don't deserve that right now. Go see him. And Trev, know what the scary thing is? His exit velo is up this year. Like, the numbers are up. And how about you and I love doing the cross sports? How about Big Bronny getting up for a stupid dunk last night with his head up by the rim? It kind of shadows his famous dunk from 8 years ago. You got the Lake Show hat on. Trev, what if this guy continues? Like, people haven't really talked about that. It's kind of just been like, well, Trout's been great, and, we'll see what the second half looks like. Like,
Who says that?
I'm just saying, people have said he's potentially one of the best to ever do it, but I don't know. We haven't talked about what that really means. Like, if he can have 5 more years of this, and then, I don't know, just don't count this dude out ever. He's going to slide to a corner outfield in 3 years, and then he's probably going to be a stud there. And then the last couple years he'll DH, and he'll probably get on base at a 450 clip or something stupid. So he's stupid.
It's
He's
funny.
unreal.
I just go on this long rant about Mike Trout, and he's the best to ever do it. And then I remember that I was just looking at Barry Bonds' baseball reference page last night, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where to go with that whole argument, because Barry Bonds has a career WAR of 162.
Yeah.
So Trout's got a long way to go
Little help.
to get there. Bonds did have a little help.
Bonds had a little pick-me-up.
So if we just say, nah, Bonds, you can never be talked about, then yes, Mike Trout, without a doubt, becomes the best baseball player to ever do it.
Mike Trout, without
Go
a
watch him
doubt.
play. You have to go see this guy play, especially now. Go see him when he's still young enough. Don't wait till you get a little chubby Mike Trout. I can't wait to see a chubby Mike Trout
I'm
trotting around the
so
bases.
in on that. Oh,
He looks like a
thick
bowling
daddy
ball.
Trout.
Oh, man.
Looking like
Three
Nelson
kids.
Cruz. Oh, that's what I want. Okay. Trev, I think we got to tie this one off. We had a lot of rants and rambles today, which is the beauty of it. You were fantastic. I was fantastic.
You were great.
Thank you. And everyone listening, you guys were great. We appreciate you guys. The early word from Jomboy is that everything's good with him. He will be back soon. And yeah, I don't know. Stay tuned. We'll have stuff coming up this week. Trev's tidbits, voicemails, all of it. So thank you guys. Go enjoy the baseball. It's still great. And we'll see you guys next time.
Happy Labor Day.